So the next topic is, of course, what about life on Mars? Okay, so let me just get the answer out there. The answer is just a big no. There is no life on Mars right now, and there's no evidence life ever existed on Mars. And so, of course, you can sort of combine that in your mind with the last couple videos which discuss is there water on Mars, which has the answer of yes. So I'm not saying these two are related, but these are two very popular questions that come up in the context of Mars. What about life? What about water? Well, here's your two answers for you right here as we get started. So anyway, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this life issue though. So for life on Mars, something interesting kind of happened recently, and this is Antarctica here, right on the good old Earth. Okay, so this is not Mars. Okay, I'm not saying that penguins or whatever exist on Mars, and this, of course, Antarctica is the South Pole. Okay, so this is a picture on Earth. It's the cute penguins. Who doesn't like the penguins? Okay, so anyway, what happens once in a while when you're walking down there is you'll see something like this. So what is this? Well, it's this black rock that's sitting here in this otherwise white ice field. Okay, so Antarctica is the best place to go for this kind of thing because you have to start wondering, where does this black rock come from in this white ice field? And they're also very easy to spot because the black is very easy to see on the white ice field. So it's likely that such black rocks are all over the Earth, but if one fell in the forest or in the middle of a grassy field or in a river or the ocean, it'd be very hard to find it, right? And of course, usually these things come back a little black here because they were charred. Charred when? Well, upon re-entry to the Earth. So indeed, this is a meteorite here. And that's NASA sends groups down there just about every year. And this is something I'd actually like to go join one of these missions, is to go down there and look for these black rocks in the white ice field because they're meteorites sort of came in and hit the Earth. So it looks like they're getting a little nutso with them here, but they're really not because they know that they're from outer space. They want to be kind of careful and log exactly where it hit and sort of some parameters about it before they just grab it, scoop it up, and take it back to the laboratory. So that's sort of what they're doing here. So it turns out that, I'll come to that picture in just a second here. So it turns out that, let me start my little story here about this. Now basically in 1996, not that long ago, one of these NASA missions here found one of these meteorites. And here it is here. It's called the Allen Hills, because it was found in a region of Mars, sort of, I guess, where there's some hills called the Allen Hills. And you can see it sort of has a catalog number here, ALH 84001, ALH Allen Hills, that kind of thing. That's not important, but that's sort of what it looked like. Okay, it's found in 1996. And it was aged to be about 16 million years old. 16 million years old. And I think it formed when an asteroid or a comet hit Mars 16 million years ago. And then, of course, what happened is if you have Mars here sitting like this, here's the red planet, and something flies in and hits it like that, of course, there'll be a bunch of ejecta going out. We studied and learned a little about crater formation, and this might have been the meteorite right here, the meteor that went out. And then what happened to it is it got into orbit the sun. And that's kind of funny because you might be thinking that the orbits around the sun like have to be planets or must be planets, but no, a little 2 kilogram rock, that's how much it weighed there, 2 kilogram rock, made that delicate balance between force and speed around the sun and just started orbiting. Okay, so then what happened maybe 13,000 years ago, our Earth swept it up, and I don't know exactly what that means, but likely something have to do with the Earth's gravity. Kind of stole it from that sun's orbit, so maybe it was sort of following or orbiting around the Earth for a while until finally in 1984, it hit the Earth. Okay, so it hit the Earth in 1984, found in 1996. And the interesting part about it, so this is sort of where the story gets a little bit interesting here, is it has trace gases in it. Identical to the Martian atmosphere. Identical. So, okay, so we know it came from Mars, and that happens. And also, just due to the dating of it, it likely existed 4 billion years ago, when likely this water flowed on Mars. So we sort of discussed there's a lot of evidence that water used to flow on Mars. Indeed, it did, maybe to the tune of 4 billion years ago. And that's when this meteor was likely formed. Okay, continue in the next video.